What if I told you one of the best pure point guards in the NBA is an undrafted rookie? For a Dallas Mavericks team that has sorely been missing a point guard in Kyrie Irving, they may have just found an answer in the least likely way possible. Last year in college, there was possibly no better playmaker in the country than Ryan Nembhard. In his senior season, he would average around 10 points, a country-leading 10 assists per game, while leading his conference in steals per game. Gonzaga would win 26 total games, they would win their conference, and they would possess the second best offense in all of college basketball. Ryan is everything you could want out of a point guard. Of course, he could play make at a high level, but ever since his time at Montverde Academy, he's been growing as a shooter. Beyond that, he has incredibly tight handles that work under well from defensive pressure. He's a high IQ player that can control an offense. He's been described as a leader both on and off the court. On top of that, having a nose for the ball defensively. Nembhard was generally seen as a four-year prospect that didn't have many major glaring weaknesses in his game except for one. Unlike his brother Andrew, Ryan hardly possessed NBA size, barely being 6 feet tall. While Ryan was quick and shifty, he wasn't the insane athlete to make up for it. Despite many people claiming that he was the talent of a second-round pick, Nembhard fell out of the second round entirely. However, he wouldn't remain an undrafted free agent for long, as a phone call from the Dallas Mavericks would make his NBA dreams come true. After a solid summer league and preseason, Nembhard would find himself playing on the opening day roster of the Dallas Mavericks. That's not exactly common for undrafted players. He played sparsely in the NBA and was even sent down to the G League for a game in which he absolutely dominated. In his one G League performance, he put up 26 points, 10 assists, 3 steals, and went 9 of 17 from the field. Back in the NBA and on a Dallas Mavericks team that has definitely been struggling, they found themselves with no other option than to see Ryan Nembhard, the undrafted pick, starting at the point guard position, and from there, Nembhard would go on the greatest stretch of his basketball career. In his 6 games so far as a starter, Ryan Nembhard has been otherworldly. He's been averaging 15 points, 7 assists on just 1 turnover. He shot 63% from the field and 68% from 3. With a team that has been struggling overall with their playmaking, with their offense, and especially at the point guard position, it was Ryan Nembhard that came out of nowhere. And this play isn't just without nothing either, it's been leading to wins. In their 6 games that Ryan Nembhard has been starting, the Dallas Mavericks have been 4-2, including wins over teams like the Denver Nuggets, the Miami Heat, and most recently, the Houston Rockets. And I actually want to start off with Nembhard's shooting. In his 6 games as a starter, he's gone around 15 of 22 from 3, and it's easy to see why. Nembhard doesn't force his shots. He doesn't put himself in bad positions. He knows he's the smallest guy on the court most of the time, so you aren't going to see him pull up for a super bad look. He's a great catch and shoot option, and he's even got some decent range on his threes as well. Beyond that, he's been incredibly efficient on a low volume from mid-range, shooting above 50% on the year. He often utilizes this the most through pick and roll, so far he's been one of the league's deadliest pull-up shooters. Nembhard's shooting has possibly been the biggest surprise of his NBA career. He was a solid but not great shooter in college, and this was a guy who was actually kind of criticized for not being the most aggressive scorer on the court. For a guy who's been undersized his whole career, for a guy who struggled against bigger guards his whole career, this isn't appearing to be an issue for him now. And of course, he already looks like a master out of the pick and roll. Beyond his scoring threat is an even bigger threat in his playmaking. I think the Dallas Mavericks are the perfect team for a guy like Nembhard, as they have some really good shooters but some good lob threats as well. Especially when you can give him the right spacing, he can make defenses pay. So far, Nembhard sits above the 90th percentile in all pick and roll ball handlers in the NBA, and he's also one of the most efficient playmakers in the entire league. At his time starting, he has had an assist to turnover ratio of around 6 assists to every turnover, ranking inside the top 10 in the entire NBA. Even outside of the pick and roll, he is a great playmaker. He's an incredibly quick thinker that can read and react to defenses incredibly well. So far, I've really liked him in transition, with him constantly looking to push the pace and look for teammates sprinting down the court. I've also noticed that despite his size, he isn't excellent at those kind of jump reads or making complicated reads trying to kick the ball out to the corner. His playmaking really makes all 5 guys on the court a legitimate threat. And I can't help but wonder if he's learned from the school of Chris Paul, with the way he uses his small size, his quickness, and his basketball IQ to make everybody around him better. Even this mid-range shot looks like a copy of the point guard himself. And Ryan Nembhard's play in his time starting has made a difference on the team overall. On the year, the Dallas Mavericks have had the worst offense in the entire league. However, in the 6 games with Nembhard starting, they have the 8th best offense in the NBA. His fellow rookie and first overall pick Cooper Flagg has definitely shaken off a pretty slow start, and he's been playing really well as of recently, and I can't help but wonder if there is some sort of correlation with Cooper Flagg playing well and Ryan Nembhard being in the starting lineup. Despite not having the defensive tools, I really don't hate what I'm seeing as a defender out of Nembhard. On ball, he plays with a ton of energy and he uses what he can in his wingspan, and overall he does a pretty good job of getting a hand up in offensive players' faces, doing a pretty good job at contesting. Off ball, his rotations really impress me as a rookie. Of course, he can sometimes do only so much with the size, but he often makes the correct play, he closes out well, does a good job getting his hand up. He does a good job staying in passing lanes, which often makes offenses have to hesitate or move in a different direction, and he's even good at switching off ball to prevent bad mismatches. Now, of course, he's not perfect on defense, no rookie is, and with his defensive tools, or lack thereof, Ryan Nembhard probably will never be the perfect defender, but I do think for a guy at his size, he is a more than solid defender, especially given the fact that he's not on a great team and he's only 5'11", maybe 6 foot. I really do think a guy like Ryan Nembhard would actually get a lot of credit if he was around average size for a point guard or just average size in the NBA overall. Like his height, Ryan Nembhard's sample size in the NBA has undoubtedly been small, but in the last few weeks, he is clearly having an impact on the Dallas Mavericks. He's improved their offense and he's led this team to legitimate wins over legitimate teams. The Dallas Mavericks season as itself may not be saved, but this team might just have their point guard of the future. Not only does this give the team a bit of a future, but it can also take some pressure off of Cooper Flagg and allow him to play in his more natural role. Now, I don't think that this exact level of performance is going to be sustained throughout the entire season, but I do think this is very indicative of what Ryan Nembhard is capable of. I highly doubt, especially with this rookie class, that we are going to be seeing Nembhard in Rookie of the Year conversations, but come the end of the season, I won't be surprised if we hear Ryan Nembhard's name in all NBA rookie conversations. But that is it for this one. If you liked the video, you know what to do, and I will catch you guys all next time.